Fox 4 News at 10.
Cape Coral cyclist cited for what he feels was his safest option. Tonight he's telling 4 in your corner he wasn't breaking the law in his view when troopers pulled him over this morning for riding in the middle of the lane.
4 in your corner's Tony Sadiku digging into what the state law says about cyclists riding on the road. Tony?
Amy Patrick, this cyclist says there was no bike lane where he was riding, so he was forced to ride on the road. But it was exactly where he was riding on the road that got him the $113 fine. For 58-year-old Robert Cellino, cycling is his way of life.
It's my life. It's everything that I do. It's why I wake up in the morning.
He rides more than 100 miles a week to and from work.
My typical commute home from work, it's about a 22-mile ride from Punta Gorda to South Cape.
Usually with no issues, but this morning was different on his ride home on Cultural Park Boulevard.
I heard a yelp, a siren yelp, and I looked behind me and I noticed it was an FHP car.
Florida Highway Patrol troopers pulling him over and citing him for failing to ride on the right side of the curb.
I was riding in the middle of the right lane.
Something Cellino says he's been doing for years.
This is the first time in 6 years in all those miles that I've ever been pulled over.
Because he feels it's the safest way to ride.
When you're on the edge, bicycles aren't noticed until the last minute. I have not had one close call taking the middle of the lane. Whereas when I used to ride on the edge, I'd have 4 or 5 close calls a week. And my life is not worth a close call with a 4,000-pound vehicle.
But what does the law say? According to Florida statute, if there isn't a bike lane, anyone riding on the road should be as close to practicable to the right-hand curb or edge of the roadway. The only exceptions being when passing another bicycle or car going in the same direction, when making a left turn at an intersection, or when necessary to avoid an obstruction in the road, or in the event of a substandard width lane, a lane that is too narrow for a bicycle and another vehicle to travel safely side by side. Cellino says it's the last exception that should have exempted him from a citation.
I'm not going to put my life in jeopardy and compromise on this because there's too much at stake and it's my life.
Now he's prepared to fight the ticket in court.
If worse comes to worse, I'll mortgage the house before I let this go. So yeah, I'm ready and willing and able to fight this all the way because it's that important.
FHP says the lane where Cellino was stopped is standard lane width, not the substandard width lane the statute references. Live in the studio, Tony Sadiku, Fox 4 in your corner.
All right, thank you, Tony.